Hey everybody, it's Dan here with the latest edition of the Weekly Pulse here in the basement of Forbidden Planet. So crazy upstairs that we had to come down here to the secret basement where all of the important comic book things happen. A lot of comics this week. It's a huge one, but as always, we're going to do mostly number ones, but we're going to start with a number two. I don't want to surprise you. It's Saga, number 2. Brian Gavon kills it again. I don't even want to show you too many pages. Number 1, great. Number 2, I don't even know if I would say it is better, but equally good, at the very least. Just, man, I love the way it's narrated with the way they do the words here, like all the lettering to describe what the child is thinking from the future. It's good. It's phenomenal. There's a crazy thing with an evil woman that sneaks into... so good. But here's the thing that makes Image genius. They had this number 2 coming out, so they were like, oh, people are getting into comics again. Let's make sure there's some new number 1s in addition to this to come out. And so they have two comics that came out phenomenal. Another one that, like Saga, had a ton of pages for a good price. Again, $2.99 for America's Got Powers, which is by Jonathan Ross and Brian Hitch. And basically the concept is this crystal meteor came down from, I guess, space. And all of the pregnant women gave birth suddenly, and every baby had a power. And in order to deal with all these sudden superhumans, is they created a television show, like a reality show, where they all fight to the death, almost a little bit Hunger Games style, and whoever wins each year gets to be part of an actual superhero team that is completely controlled. And the people that don't survive have to go back to the camps, which obviously has horrible real-life connotations. And it's just a really solid book. It's all about, like, how things have been in the past, what's changing now with the show. It centers around one guy, the only guy who was born that day, that doesn't have powers for some reason. And this is the day where, of course, everything changes. It's a phenomenal book. It's tons and tons of pages for $2.99. $3, it's a winner. So if you're here picking up Saga, I would pick up that, America's Got Powers. And then Secret... another Image book that's a number 1 that came out. It's a Hickman book, and man, I love Jonathan Hickman. This is about sort of like this spy group that infiltrates this major company, and it's all about how important corporations are and how governments are falling apart. And when all the governments fall apart, all that will be left are corporations. And these guys are basically sort of playing both sides, which is their kind of protecting the corporations while simultaneously screwing over and controlling them. And it's the story of the people who sort of run one particular spy organization. It's good, it's dark, I don't know, man. Again, I loved it. Image is basically the new Vertigo at this point. I mean, if they weren't already on your radar as like the best in publishing, or at least in the top 3. Now, Secret, a total winner again. And then speaking of number 1s, Dark Horse, they have a whole bunch of books that came out this week. Lobster Johnson came out, definitely pick it up. Dark Matter finished up its run, a little unremarkable. There's a BPRD that came out this week, also great. But Alabaster, Wolves, is a nice little story about this albino girl in the South, and it's got this nice little southern flavor to it, by the way, who ends up waiting for a bus to come, and this werewolf girl shows up. And they sort of have a little battle over, like, who's going to kill whom. And she's got this crazy angel on her shoulder, the albino girl. And she does something that kind of betrays that angel a little bit. And boy, that angel gets a little mad! It is a really solid book. It's very in that Dark Horse sweet spot. So if you're a Dark Horse reader, I definitely recommend picking that one up. Man, what else have I got this week?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, man. Frank, how are you?
Hanging out in the basement?
Oh, yeah. That's how fortuitous that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Here's a comfy seat that just happened to be here. You should sit down for a moment and talk funny books with me. What do you got there?
Well, for starters, this week, Strange Talent of Luther Strode.
Oh, man, I didn't get a chance to read this book. I was going to pick it up in the trades. How was it?
Awesome, and they got it out super fast, thankfully, for everyone waiting for trades. And another Image book that kind of knocked a lot of people for a loop in a great way. Check it out. 2 great dudes, Justin Jordan, Tradmore. I don't know the colorist, but I assume he's a great dude as well. Yeah, out this week, and really,
give me the pitch. What's it about for the readers at home?
It's about a kind of normal dorky guy named Luther who has problems with girls, gets bullied, and he orders one of those like old Charles Atlas books. Like it's based clearly on that. They call it like the Atlas method. If anyone remembers reading them in like old Spider-Man, it's like getting the sand kicked in your face. And this book actually transforms him into this Goliath, Ripper, crazy guy.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. And his dorky friend is like, oh, you need to be a superhero now. So he becomes a superhero, but of course, strange things afoot. And there's actually the man who sent him the book, this vile guy called the Librarian, comes back to...
I hate librarians myself. Look, I mean, unless it's a sexy lady librarian.
Certainly not. Decidedly
not the bearded, bald man
evil
librarian. You know he's evil.
But clearly has a hidden agenda, comes back and kind of fights the titular character, Luther Strode, here. And all hell breaks loose. It's really violent.
I want to show this particular shot right there. Boy, does that just look like a delight. Who doesn't want to be in this situation? Happens to me all the time. I'm telling you, the doctor bills. What else do you have?
Also, Clive Barker's Hellraiser Annual out this week.
I was reading a lot of those, the Hellraiser, like the classic ones, the reprints. They've been pretty good in the current series. There's some pretty cool stuff in it, too. What's happening with this dude?
I'm not super familiar with Hellraiser, the Hellraiser mythology, but again, two prominent people are featured in this book, other than Clive Barker up here. But Brandon Seifert, who writes Witch Doctor for Skybound Comics, and Mike Montagne, my buddy Mike, actually drew this book, and again, he's up and coming and really killing it, and looks like lots of good, sexy, evil, violent, demon stuff happening, and I'm sure if you're a Hellraiser fan...
Yeah, oh, there you go.
more skinless dudes.
I love
guess
it.
that's
Man.
This week's theme.
Apparently. Thank goodness you came by. By the way, just real quick on the sly, stuff that I had. So, Amazing Spider-Man, this is a nice little reprint for you big nerds. Some Bernie Wrightson art. You know I occasionally talk about Bernie Wrightson as one of my favorite artists. This is a story about Spidey, his paper girl, the girl who delivered his paper when he was a kid, shows up, and it turns out more than just a paper girl, kind of part of a magic family, and it turns out that her family is being marked for death, and there's this evil creature that's coming through and killing them one by one. I'm going to skip ahead so you can get an idea. The whole deal is that every time you fight it, you start to beat it, it gets bigger and stronger and more evil and sinister. It gets so crazy.
Decidedly dark Spider-Man
it's
story.
pretty twisted for Spidey. It's a $4.99 book. If you never read this one, like Bernie Wrightson or just Spider-Man, it's definitely
Is it self-contained?
It is. Yeah, this is like one big self-contained story. That's really good. And then only because the whole Avengers versus X-Men thing that's been going on, everybody that walks on the store is like, "Hey, do you have the Dark Phoenix Saga?" And the answer for a while has been no. I don't know why they haven't reprinted it. Well, good news, everybody. Here it is, back in print. If you don't have an old copy of this thing lying around, never read it, and are just starting to read Avengers vs. X-Men, and are like, what is all this Phoenix Force stuff about? Well, this is the book to pick up. How much is it? $24.99. I would argue probably worth every penny. Definitely up there with my favorite stories that combines a lot of crazy heroes, good X books. So that, if you've been waiting,
two big names too, Byrne and Claremont.
And Claremont, yeah, probably the best that X-Men have ever been is when they're writing.
I've heard so many people call it soap operas for boys.
Yeah, whatever. If it works, it works. So hey, man, the real reason that you're around, now that you were just walking around my basement having a good time, a laugh, is because we've got a signing coming up next week.
April 18th, Wednesday.
April 18th, and you've got a story in Dark Horse Presents.
Yeah, I'm very happy and very fortunate to have a story starting actually next week. It's going to be the first of a few shorts we're running in Dark Horse Presents. Our story title is actually based around a book we're doing called The White Suits, and essentially we're running a few short stories, prequels to the main series mythology that, again, start next week. And my artist and collaborator, not with us right now, but he will be at the signing doing sketches. His name Luke Radl, super talented guy. And
that's awesome. So next week you will be here. What's the time?
It's 1 p.m. 1 to 2:30 we will be here.
All right, that's awesome. And we're actually going to have a second video, which you will see either before the week is out or early next week, where we're going to actually talk in a little more detail. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming by, talk about comics with me, man. And I'll see you next week at the thing.
I hope we see everybody.
Yeah, everybody should be there for that. And as always, remember that you can like, comment, subscribe to all these videos. Everything that we talked about, everything new came out this week. You can get fpnyc.com. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and keep reading. Bye, everybody. Bye.